SS17, I said it first. So what the heck was that all about? SS17. Well, there is a story behind that, my friends, as you could well imagine. Excuse me for just a second while I throttle this beauty up a little bit. Today is the next day. It is the day after I brought Boogaboo back to Craig's place over at Canadian Yacht Tops. Situate my little jerk motor here. Yeah, so that was a quick turnaround. Brought it over here yesterday morning. It is now late afternoon on the following day. Anchor Girl and I just drove over here by car, and they were just buttoning up the last couple of things. A few domes down on this new carpet. Man, does it ever look feel good. Look good, feel good. It's nice and squishy on my feet. But I will show you that later on, or on a later video. I don't know, I don't care. I'm just excited right now because I am back, yes, driving the boat. So, by my count, let's see, it was, how many times have I driven this boat so far? 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. I have actually technically driven this boat 7 times now. Maybe this is the 8th. I don't know. I'm getting overwhelmed by all this mathematics. And yet, Anchor Girl has not been on the boat with me 1 time yet. It's always I'm going somewhere or going back and forth somewhere. She's not with me because she's driving the car or whatever. Catching me at the dock. Sorry, just a little bit more RPM because it is later in the day and I want to get home. It's still going to be 2 hours to cross Lake Simcoe. But yeah, so Anchor Girl, soon, honey, I promise you're going to be on the boat very, very soon with me because it's not the same all alone. Although it's pretty awesome driving this boat. It feels so good driving this boat. This boat, it's just right. It feels right. It feels like it's the right boat for me to drive. It feels like it's the right boat for us to enjoy. And as I keep mentioning to Anchor Girl, my overwhelming sense that I have about this boat is that it's heavy. It's big. It's not the heaviest boat we had. The 400 sedan was a little bit more than this. That was 21,000 pounds fully laden. This is like about 18,000, I think I calculated to. So yeah, that's full water, full gas. Now right now we are running half holding tank of poop, pretty much a full water tank. Fuel is still 3/4. I wanted to get a pump out and top up here just because I was here, but a big boat had just pulled into the marina and they were kind of giving me the over at Canadian Yacht Top, so they want to be out of their dock and on my way. Of course, yeah, that's fine. So I'll go for a pump out and gas when I get home later on this week, hopefully. But like I say, I just feel like the boat is heavy, and not in a bad way, in a like in a control sense, if you know what I mean. It's just it has a strong presence on the water as I drive it, and I really enjoy it. I really like it. Yeah, still happier. once it gets up to it goes well above the 3,200 RPM mark, whereas the starboard side will still 32. But I just give that gauge a little tap to tack, and it bounces back down and kind of evens out. Now, I read a long time ago, many years ago, well, many years ago, within the last 20 years, I think it was in Boating Magazine actually, because back in the day when they still had a decent boating magazine, when they had real boats, not just freaking fishing boats, I had a subscription for a number of years. But I'm pretty sure that's where I read the article where it said that if you think, if in running in twin engines, if you think one of your tacks is off from the other, just look at your sink gauge, your engine sink gauge. Don't know why, but it was suggested that that is probably going to be the most accurate out of the three gauges, tack, tap, and sink. So I always try to run them in sync by the gauge. So they are right now, again, just over 3,200 RPM. It seems to be its happy spot. 21 and 22 and a half, 21 and a half to 22 miles an hour. Again, by Navionics, which is GPS speed, GIPS speed, for those uninitiated, is what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's cutting a nice speed behind this beautiful boat. Look at that. Wow. So I'm happy with that. Of course, I'm going to look into that once. I believe I mentioned this before, that as part of my electronics devices replacement, I have all new dash panels, which I got from crayparts.com or FB Marine Flounder Pounder. And so I'm going to be replacing that panel, which means I'm going to take all the gauges out individually and just check all the connections, give them a little light sand, a little bit of dielectric grease on them, nice and clean, put them all back, and hopefully that is going to fix it. Now, bear with me. I don't want to change the gauges because I like to leave everything as factory as possible. Not sure if I mentioned this to you or not, but the hour meters are way off on this boat too. Currently, port side is reading roughly 510 hours, starboard 433. That is quite a disparity. That's almost 100 running hours difference between those two engines. So when we were purchasing the boat as part of the survey and the mechanic looking at it, I had the mechanic scan the engines, and they were both pretty much bang on at around 610 or 612 hours. So on my mind, I'll look it up. In my mind, let's say 610 hours. So I'm just keeping track of my run hours, you know, my trip so far. So I probably put about 7 hours on this thing so far in total. 6, 7. And I do actually have standalone hour gauges, which I'm going to put down there on the helm. Thinking about it, I might only install one, because chances are if one engine's running, the other engine's running. We're on that keep track of one. And then just kind of measure from like 0 being my start from whatever it is, let's say 620 hours plus. Wow. As we zip along across this big, vast lake, especially passing by the area I just said, past Fox Island, it takes me back to my youth. The awesome influence that it had on me boating in this area. And like I said, crossing this huge lake. Comparatively speaking, this is a big body of water. And when I was a kid, this is as far as my dad would dare to venture, shall we say. And I always look in wonder and amazement, like that distance of how far could you go? What's over there? What's on the other side? Never knew. Of course, when Anchor Girl and I finally got into boating ourselves 25-ish years ago, you know me, I was more about the adventure. I always wanted to see farther. And further and keep going and see what's down there, what's beyond the next bend. I want to go to that place in that magazine. I don't want to go anywhere in the world and everywhere in the world. I have no desire to do that. Neither Angus Girl and I. We've discussed it many, many times. And as you know, we're not going to do the Great Loop, but we will continue to travel. Even our short one-night getaways along the Transom Waterway, go to a log somewhere, or make a long weekend out of it, or 2 to 6 weeks out of it, and just venture out. We have the boat, we have the time, we have the weather. Oh man, it is so hot today. It is beyond summertime. It is sweating weather. I think they were saying 35 degrees Celsius with the heat index, heat warning. I don't know what that is. It's got to be well into the 90s Fahrenheit. And yeah, it's summer. So, like I say, it gives me such a great feeling to be out here and to know that we can travel so much farther and do so much more that we are going to do. And that takes me right back to the very beginning of this video. SS-17, I saw it first. That takes us back 25 years ago when the kids were younger. And SS-17 is a marker. It's a lateral buoy in Lake Simcoe, just off the point of Roach's Point. Look it up. That is the only buoy marker that I know off by heart. I know a lot of people say, oh, when we're traveling, there's somebody, who's driving, she's navigating, looking at the charts, up with the binoculars and picking up markers by the numbers. I've never navigated that way. Not telling you this way to do it, but I will look at a chart, especially going through the Transom Waterway. There's so many markers. Hard to get lost along there because it's easy to find your way. But I would look at the chart and say, hey, there's a red, red, green, and then after that, there's a red, green, green, red, and I would just count those down. Look at the paper charts back in the day, and just count them off that way. And in my mind, not necessarily having to know what the actual marker buoy is. It's pointless. It's that. So when we were all younger, and we were on our first boat that got to the water, which was our little 18-foot crew runabout, and we boated out of that area with the kids. It was kind of neat. At the end of the day, we would go somewhere, we'd come back, and we'd round that corner and go past SS-17. And so, yeah, one of us would yell out, because I would, if I was driving, or even if the kids were driving, nobody needed a license back then. We got really close to it. And it'd be, ooh, SS-17, I said it first. Yeah. Still do that today with the kids, just parking around. Not driving past markers and boys, just saying. So yeah, it's fun. Lots of great memories. So I'm not looking away from you. Glancing down at the gauges, water, making sure everything's looking and sounding copacetic, which it is. Yeah, but like I say, tons of memories, and looking forward to creating and sharing a lot more with you. Again, like I say, the reason I started this is to share this. We're so fortunate. It's so beautiful to be out here on the water. Yeah. Try to encourage others. Try to inspire others to do this. If you don't have a boat, drive to a beach, drive to a log, drive to a marina. Just check it out. See what's out there. Yeah. So, my friends, I got sentimental enough for today. I'm going to wrap this one up. Yeah. Thanks again for following along. As always, my pleasure. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the next one. It's going to be a beautiful day. Okay, right down idle speed, that's nice. going in neutral. I gotta put the fenders out. One thing I just want to mention is, as I stand right in front of the camera, I was pointing this out to Anchor Girl the other day. I noticed last week when I was running this boat, I think, when I come off of a plane, slow her down, it doesn't have that huge wave like our last boat had, our 330. If I didn't control coming off a plane, that wave would come right back and come right back into the cockpit. I mean, it wouldn't flood the boat, but I would do it in such a way that it would rush over the swim platform, that beautiful extended swim platform, ultra swim platform that I put on that boat, and I have it come just inside the cockpit door, or sorry, not the cockpit door, but the transom door, and then, you know, let it go, and it would rinse that off. Love that swim platform. Can't put one on here simply because we're way too high off the water. It'll be, we'd be 14, yeah, no man, we'd be 16 inches or higher off the water. I don't want that. This is getting comfortable for us to use. So anyways, this one does not have that huge wave. I mean, I still control slowing down, but I think it's because the weight is so much more farther forward, so you don't have that brrr behind the boat. Brrr behind the boat. Okay, I gotta do the fenders. Just talk to Anchor Girl. She's just pulling into Subway.